Yeah. Hey, it's real Trump supporters out here, you feel me? We ain't robbing nobody on this song, baby. Salute that boy, you know, we coming in, we coming hard, we going tough. Let's go. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. Hey. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. Let's go. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. Hey, Donald Trump. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. For real. Black MAGA, 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 Black MAGA. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. Donald Trump, the first black president. Ever seen a black patriot? Yeah, we exist. The Democrats use my color just to stay rich. Indict my president, you might as well indict me too. Call me your Uncle Tom, but really what Obama do? Not a damn thing, Trump was just that Chick-fil-A. Taking flicks with my people, he really showing face. Hey, Joe Biden, yeah, I really wanna taste some. Poor kids is just as talented as white kids in this country. 3.6 million black kids in poverty. But these liberals putting illegal immigrants right in front of me. We should make them vote at the gas pump. We got fake news mad, cause us niggas out here voting Trump. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. Hey. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. Let's go. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. Hey, Donald Trump. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. For real. Black MAGA, 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 Black MAGA. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. Donald Trump, the first black president. I know your mama can't barely buy the groceries. They pushing genders on our kids, not rosaries. You get a Glock in these streets before you learn to read. You get some sauce, some white, some weed before a damn degree. Next thing you know, you going fed, getting a GED. I swear we fed the whole hood with the PPPs. Rappers pushing P, but I'm pushing knowledge. They hooked on EBT, but I was hooked on phonics. They wouldn't be so terrified of Donald Trump if Biden actually received 81 million votes. You know that boy capping, all aboard the Trump train. November 5th, every nigga in America vote for Trump. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. Let's go. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. For real. Black MAGA, 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 Black MAGA. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. Donald Trump, the first black president.
We Japanese still. You can cook in front of your family like a Japanese meal. It's Yasuta Hibachi, and none of you niggas can stop me, but can't help but watch me. So look, bro, it's a long day at work. I wanted to go ahead and get a quick live in before I call it a night. And we got to keep riding on these Democrats because why not? It's victory month, man. It's victory month. We took down the Democrats. We got Donald J. Trump elected. So let's discuss some more of these policies. I won't be too long tonight, man. Like I said, it was a long day at work. But I would like to discuss, how awful Democrat policies are. And like I said in prior episodes, most of you guys that vote Democrat, a lot of these states y'all come from, you got people that are fleeing these states because of high crime, high taxes, life is unaffordable. And now you got this new element with this large surge and influx of illegal immigrants in the cities, eating up and frustrating and overwhelming all of your social services. So we're going to get right into it, man. This is just ridiculous. This is just ridiculous. Democrats, all they do is tax and spend, and they don't change anything, nothing effectual change, not providing an effectual change for anyone. All they do is create bills and they line their own damn pockets. And these bills always cost the taxpayer a large sum of damn money, and it just cripples the low and middle class. And that's what we see in these blue cities, man. It's hard to live in these blue cities, hard to live in these deep blue states. Affordability is just not in the cards. You understand? I feel sorry for the people that have to live and stay where these delegates and these people that are your county clerk members, the city council, are running shit, and they're running it into the ground, man. Look at Chicago. Chicago is a terrible city, and it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. Crime should not be that way. You understand? We know there's self-responsibility with the blacks and Latina gangs and stuff like that. We know there's self-responsibility there, but the city is also at fault because the way they allocate funds and the way that they treat their inner city population. And that's what we're about to get into. That's what we're about to read here. This is terrible, man. This is just terrible, terrible. So this happened earlier this year. Look at this, man. Look, your eyes are not deceiving you. Your eyes are not deceiving you at all. It says Illinois' House passes $53.1 billion budget with tax changes, migrant funding, and more. This is how Democrats run their cities. This is how they run their cities, man. Running it into the ground, bro. They care more about this bullshit than their locals, than the people that voted for them. And that's why everybody should vote these motherfuckers out of office. Because they approved this large sum of money. And guess who's going to have to pay for it? And guess who's not going to benefit from it? The middle and low class of Chicago. They're not going to benefit from this. And it goes on to read that the Illinois House passed a $53.1 billion state budget early Wednesday morning, approving a plan that is $400 million more than Governor J.B. Pritzker proposed in February and raises taxes. And there it is. There's the key word there. Raises taxes. Going to make it a lot harder for the citizens of Chicago or the citizens of Illinois in general. A lot harder for them. Right? So we're going to get into this bill here. It makes other tax codes change to generate $1.2 billion to fund it. So again, these things don't pay for themselves. So what do? Where is this money coming from? They create more tax burdens on the working class. And this is why we've seen the red wave in the last general election, because people don't want to keep paying for bullshit. And we're gonna break down what this budget covers, right? It said just after 2 a.m. Wednesday, as discussions lasted well into the overnight hours, lawmakers voted to pass the budget with a 65 to 45 vote. The budget, which was passed by the Senate over the long Memorial Day holiday weekend, now heads to Pritzker's desk, where it awaits his signature. Open quote, this budget is balanced, responsible, and fair, close quote. Of course they're going to say that, right? House Speaker pro tempore Jehan Gordon Booth, what is this? A Peoria Democrat, told the executive committee. That's how the Democrats roll. They want to tax the hell out of you and spend a bunch of goddamn money on unnecessary ass shit. That is the mantra of the Democratic Party. So it's no surprise the Democrats going to say, oh yeah, the budget is balanced, responsible, and fair. Watch what it says. It invests in children. It invests in infrastructure. It also invests in our most vulnerable. Now, most of this bullshit is talking about illegal immigration, and we're going to get into that. Republicans complain that Democrats, who's standing up against these motherfuckers for the little guy, for the taxpayer, for the middle and low class? Who's standing up for them? Republicans. That's all you read about. And that's why it's so insane for people like, oh, I don't support Republicans. They're the only ones fighting against these people. They're the only ones fighting against them. They're fighting against these guys. Let me blow this text up, man. Let me blow this up. While you crying and bemoaning the Republican Party, they're the ones trying to stand up against these people, man, these crooks. Republicans complain that Democrats who control the legislature are spending beyond their means. And that's what you see in these deep blue cities. You don't just see it in Illinois, you see it in New York, you see it in Chicago, you see it in California. You see it all over. Wherever a blue city is, you're going to see it. You see it in Houston. You see it in Dallas. Right? You see it, you're going to see it in all these blue cities. Overspending. And what do? Every time they do it, they just tax the hell out of you. They raise all your taxes. When you raise all the taxes, the price of goods go up. Right? Because the owners are getting taxed more to rent the location they have or lease the location they have. So therefore, that cost trickles down to their customer base. Come on now. This is Economics 101. It says The Republicans complain that Democrats who control the legislature are spending beyond their means and not preparing for what many predict are lean years ahead, meaning that the city's not going to be able to produce that much in the years to come. And you're taxing the hell out of these people and you're spending all this damn money. Deputy House Republican leader Noreen Hammond of Macomb said she found at least $1 billion in spending that would be pushed off to the following fiscal year. Open quote, I have concerns that there are gimmicks in this budget that put us on a path to a giant collision in the future, close quote. Representative C.D. Davis Meyer, a Jacksonville Republican, told Gordon Booth. Open quote, I hope I don't have to say, I told you so when it happens. So they're looking through the bill and they see $1 billion of pretty much bullshit. That's not even trying to dress this up. Bullshit that they're spending money on and wasting taxpayers' money. It says, so what will it mean for residents? Here are some things to know. A grocery tax. One thing on the minds of many Illinois residents is the state grocery tax. The approved plan removes the tax from Illinois, but because the tax directly benefits local communities, the budget plan will allow any municipality to create its own grocery tax up to 1% without state oversight. And those with home rule authority, generally any city or county with a population exceeding $25,000, will be authorized to implement a sales tax up to 1% without submitting the question to voters for approval. Pritzker called for the tax removal during his budget address in Springfield earlier this year, with the governor saying the proposed elimination would be a boost for families still hit hard by increasing prices. Pritzker blasted the 1% tax as a regressive tax that the state doesn't need. If it reduces inflation for families from 4% to 3%, even if it only puts a few $100 back in the family's pocket, it's the right thing to do, he said. More than a dozen states currently tax groceries, and while Pritzker's desire to rid Illinois of the tax has plenty of consumer approval, the state's current tax adds up to significant revenue for local municipalities. So basically, they're arguing for it and against it, right? It says Senate lawmakers touted the tax's removal over the long Memorial Day weekend. However, this measure is providing relief to skyrocketing grocery prices. State Senator Steve Stadelman said in a statement, by eliminating the state-imposed sale tax on groceries, we can provide a financial relief to families across the state, making essential items more affordable. But again, the Democrats are the reason why all of these the groceries prices spiked, because they created inflation. The Biden and Harris administration spiked this damn inflation, went all the way to 9%. And they're also against their enemies against fuel and gas and energy, natural energy, which also spikes the prices of groceries. So it's a problem they create. So now they got to create a bill and spend more goddamn money from a problem they created. It says the 1% tax on groceries applies specifically to items that are meant to be consumed off the premises where they are sold according to state law. So, regular groceries, not like hot food and stuff like that. It said the sale tax was suspended as part of Pritzker's fiscal year 2022 budget, with officials projecting that it could save shoppers up to $400 million. It says tax hikes. While things like grocery tax might be eliminated, another provision in the budget could result in a higher tax bill for most of the state's residents. So again, they try to win you over with the grocery shit, try to win their constituents or win their citizens over with the grocery tax. Oh, we're going to remove the grocery tax. The reason why grocery taxes are high is because the motherfuckers y'all putting into the presidency for the last 4 years pretty much passed bills and executive orders that spiked inflation. And yes, your state has something to do with it because y'all gave them overwhelming support. Your state senators, your congressmen gave the Biden administration overwhelming support to do the things they did. But guess what? Even with that, now you got tax hikes. Tax hikes. Because this money, this $53.1 billion got to come from somewhere, right? It says, while things like grocery tax might be eliminated, another provision in the budget could result in a higher tax bill for most of the state's residents. According to the text of the budget, Pritzker is proposing that the state increase its exemption allowance to $25.50 for tax year 2024. Since the increase is less than what was originally called for due to inflation, the action would result in deposits of an estimated $93 million into the state's general fund, according to the budget. The exemption allowance is a standard deduction for Illinois taxpayers that is designed to reduce adjusted gross income, according to state officials. The deduction for tax year 2023 clocked in at 2425, according to the State Department of Revenue. That number was lower than the 2625 that it was originally supposed to be, with the number determined by fluctuations in the consumer's price index, which measures inflation. State officials had paused the automatic inflation tied increase, but were going to allow it to resume in 2024, which would have increased the exemption to $2,775. Instead, Pritzker's plan would mean that the exemption would be $225 smaller than originally intended, which could result in a small increase in tax bills for state residents because of increases to their taxable income. So basically, they're not going to be able to deduct as much from their taxable income, which they're going to end up paying more. It says state Republicans have blasted the move, arguing that it unfairly targets low and middle income residents. Again, Republicans arguing for who? The low and middle income residents. Republicans always are doing this. But you guys always tout the party line. Republicans are for the rich. I can't tell. AOC living comfortably. She's rich, and she always want to bring up the rich. Motherfucker, you are rich. And all of your policies hurt low and middle income residents. Drastically change their lives. Up in their taxes, up in their property taxes. Some of these people are losing their homes because of the decisions you make in Washington. Because the way you vote in Washington, it hurts normal people out here busting their ass, working 40 hours plus a week, 50, 60 hours a week to make ends meet, to take care of their families, to take care of their homes, to pay their bills, to put their children through school. You make it hard as hell for these people to just live regular lives. And you want to talk about the rich. Bitch, you are the rich. And you're selfish. And all your policies that you guys vote for ultimately hurt people. And it ultimately hurts the working class. That's why the red wave happened last week. That's why all these people voted for Donald J. Trump to be the next president. And he became president-elect. Because look how you run your cities. Look how you run your states. This is how you run them into the ground. And you keep milking your tax base. Bleeding your tax base dry. Open quote, this is going to hit low income and middle income families, and it is as a tax increase, close quote. Senate Minority Leader John Curran told WBEZ. If the legislature does not go along with this, people will get a greater tax savings with the current existing law than what the governor has proposed, close quote. Child tax credit and sports betting also included the Senate passed budget is increased funding for the child tax credit, which will be paid for in part via an increase in taxes on sportsbooks gambling. According to lawmakers, the budget includes investments for $50 million for child tax credit for eligible low-income families with earned tax credit, as well as wage increases for direct support professionals and community care program workers and increased funds for safety net hospitals. The funds for this come from increased sports wagering taxes and on video gambling. Pritzker wanted the tax paid by casino sports books to jump from 15 to 35%, but it was set on a sliding scale from 20 to 40%. That is crazy. That's crazy. I guess the ends justify the means, because I guess your community program workers are getting paid. Safety net hospitals are getting paid from this, but that is high as hell, 20 to 40%. Is it even worth the gamble? Millions of working families across the state are struggling to make ends meet, and this budget shifts tax dollars to stabilize our economy through better paying jobs and increasing the child tax credit. State Senator Rachel Ventura said in a statement, not only are there major investments for early education, but also higher education, investing in resources that afford everyone with the opportunity to receive a quality education, regardless of their zip code, is vital to ensure our youth is prepared for what comes after school. And again, this is all baloney, because these people are the biggest proponents of just sticking people in public school and not allowing them to exercise school choice, which means they would be locked into their zip code. And so this is double speak right here. The change would mean Illinois families with children under the age of 12 could be offered an average of $300 to $600 in credits. With passage of this budget, thousands of households, parents, caretakers, and children in Illinois will get extra money every year to put food on the table, pay rent, get child care, and other basic needs that no family should have to forego in our state. State Senator Mike Simmons said in a statement. So, this is vanilla here. There's nothing really bad here so much, but that right there is high as hell. That's a high tax rate. But I guess you argue the ends justify the means. This is the part that pissed me off. This is what pissed me off. I hate when bureaucrats can vote for their own raise. I hate that shit so goddamn much because it incentivizes them doing a bad job because they can do a terrible job. They can ruin lives. They can hike all these taxes up, make it harder for lower income and middle income families to survive. And they get to reward themselves for their bad behavior. They reward themselves. They literally vote their own goddamn pay raise. Look at this. Pay raises for lawmakers. According to Politico, the budget passed by the Senate also includes cost of living pay raises of about 5% for state lawmakers. Last year, lawmakers gave themselves a pay raise of nearly 16%. You know how high that is? You know what I'm saying? How high is it? Listen, hold on. Let me show y'all something. Let me open up my handy dandy calculator real quick. Let's say they're making $150,000. I'm just gonna throw a number out there. $150,000. Hold on. Let's just ask Siri how substantial that is. While they pass legislation to hurt normal people, this is the type of shit they do. This is why a lot of people can't stand their ass, man. Hey Siri, what is 16% of $150,000?
It's $24,000.
So they gave themselves an additional $24,000. Hypothetically, they made $150,000. They would give themselves an additional $24,000, which means that bumps up to $174,000 if they were making $150,000. Man, that is insane. How many people get a 16% boost in their salary? How many people do that? What job offer that? I mean, this just incentivizes Democrats to become more crooked. More crooked, man. It says it was the first increase since 2008. Since then, lawmakers have approved automatic cost of living adjustments, providing raises in 2021 and 2022. For education, among the changes in the budget was funding change that will allow many college and university students who are at the below median income levels to have tuition and fees covered by MAP and federal Pell Grants. Oh, it's pretty standard right there. There's also a $350 million increase for elementary, secondary education, as prescribed by a 2017 school funding overhaul, but a reduction from what was requested by the State Education Board and federally mandated school operations. The budget puts an additional $75 million for early childhood education, meaning 5,000 more seats, Gordon Booth said. Chicago's not off the hook. Y'all got all that money. I think $9.9 billion statewide. Or no, Chicago, the city by itself, not just Illinois, because we're reading about Illinois. $9.9 billion and your schools are still failing. So obviously something's going on there. It's not just the money that's the issue. It's the functionality and the practice that you guys have going on with your school system. Medical debt, the budget passed by Senate also includes a House Bill 5290, which would create a so-called medical debt relief program. The program would wipe out medical debt for an estimated 340,000 Illinois residents. When I became governor, I promised to put Springfield back on the side of the working families. The governor said on social media last month, with my budget, Illinois will buy back up to $1 billion worth of medical debt for more than 300,000 Illinoisans. It's the right thing to do. Now, here's the point right here. Here's the kick in the ball, so to speak, right here. Look at how much money goes to migrant funding. Migrant funding. The proposal to provide $182 million to fund services for tens of thousands of migrants seeking asylum in the U.S., largely bus from Texas, where they cross the border, and it provides $440 million. Listen to this, y'all, for health care for non-citizens. So next time you call the dentist or call a hospital and they tell you, they tell your ass, hey, we need you got to pay the deductible or your insurance don't cover this. Just remember, this is the type of shit the blue vote blue no matter who crew proposes and gets passed in these blue cities. $182 million of fund services for tens of thousands of migrants seeking asylum. That's crazy. And then they get $440 million for health care for non-citizens. God damn, they living their life like it's golden. God damn. You can't do that for your inner city peoples? You can't provide this type of money to rehabilitate the hood? Knock out all those dilapidating homes and build up new homes? You can't do shit like that? Incentivize business growth in these areas, these low-income areas? You can't do shit like that? Trade programs? You can't put money towards that? But you can find money for the migrant funding. Now, this right here should piss anybody off. This should piss everybody off. But hey, what Tupac said, hey, that's the way it is. That's how it go in these blue cities, man. These blue cities. Other notable items, one of the most notable items left off the budget is money for professional sports stadiums. Pritzker has made it clear that the state wasn't sold on the idea of public funding for the new stadium plans for the Chicago Bears or the Chicago White Sox. His press secretary called the plan a non-starter for the state. Political experts had speculated lawmakers will likely punt on such funding. According to the Senate President Don Harmon, the budget also includes a $350 million increase in funding for public schools throughout the state, continued payments and long-term debt, including the retirement systems covering state workers, university employees, and public school teachers. $2 million committed to providing increased security at reproductive health clinics. Yeah, y'all know what that means, right? Reproductive health clinics. It's probably abortion clinics. They don't want to call it that because that's negative press. That's negative press. Addition of 280 frontline DCF workers. This is a reasonable, responsible, and balanced budget for the great state of Illinois, Harmon said in a statement. It offers meaningful investments in our priorities and shared goals. I want to thank my colleagues in Senate, House Speaker Welch, and Governor Pritzker for all their work in putting this plan together. So there you have it. The citizens of Illinois are getting served a large heaping bowl of shit. And that number is outrageous for one state, man. Come on, man. $180 million, man. How many poor Black Americans in the state of Illinois could use some of that money, man? How many? And then healthcare, you always say, oh, we need universal healthcare. Shit, apparently they got money for healthcare. But here's the thing. They're going to bleed their tax base dry, man, increasing more taxes, more tax hikes, and people are going to feel it. People are going to feel it. And then they're doing this, and, when inflation is still moderately high and wages, when they're adjusted for inflation, are poor. So it's like, come on, man, it's going to be a gut punch to the low and middle income households, but no one gives a fuck about them. No one cares. Like, to hell with them. As long as they do what needs to be done to pay for all of our crazy ass policies. No one gives a fuck. And the state of Illinois is still dumping all this money into education, and their schools still suck. Explain that. Explain that. So what is the taxpayer getting out of this, man? What are they getting out of it? So I just wanted to share that with y'all, man. And that's why a lot of people are saying flip Chicago red, man, especially the immigration shit. Especially the immigration side of things, man. That is ridiculous, bro. That is a crazy ass number, bro. Crazy number. Hey, and that's why many people in this country decided to go red. Even people that lived in Illinois, even people that lived in Chicago, they want to flip the state red. They wanted because look, enough is enough. That's basically what the populace is saying. And again, the people that are arguing against this big taxes and big spending and hiking everybody's cost of living were Republicans. You're always going to see that. It's always the Republicans fighting against that. There's always Democrats always fighting for it, in favor of it. And you get decades upon decades and decades of that type of policy making and decision making, and that's why you have the poverty you have. That's why it's hard to make it in these cities. The cost of living is high as hell. The cost to do anything in these damn cities is high as hell. Like I told you, when I was in Massachusetts, they tax you for owning a damn car because you're gonna park it on the street. So therefore, they got to tax you for it. They got to tax for every goddamn thing in these blue cities. It costs to do everything. I remember in New York they were arguing about charging people to go to Manhattan or something like that. I know Sean know what I'm talking about. They're gonna start charging people to go to Manhattan that live in New York is going to Manhattan, and that's crazy. Finding new ways to screw people. And at the end of the day, all these people are going to do is vote for an increase of their salary. You know what? Let's look at that. What's the average salary of the state legislature, the lawmakers of Illinois? Let me look that up. State lawmakers. Makers of Illinois. Average salary. Let's see what comes up. The annual base is 80. Okay, so they make it 89. The total cost to taxpayers per active Illinois lawmaker is more than 100,000. Damn, so they still making good money. And they want to throw 16% on top of that? God damn. God damn, that's still good money, man. That's good money. Sean said, yeah, the tolls are already up. They're just not active yet. Bro, listen, man. I remember 10 years ago, I had drove through New York. I really didn't know where I was going, so I had drove through New York. And I was on one of them damn toll roads, and I hit like 4 or 5 tolls. Each toll, I was paying $15, bro, back then. $15. I'm like, God damn, I done ran through, what it was like, shit, $80, $90? I was like, how y'all do this shit every day? Down here, we complain about our toll roads. It's like $1 and some change. And you go up there, it's $15. I don't know what it is today. It's probably more than that. They probably didn't bump that joint up. Because guess what? The inhabitants of the city, the citizen, the regular citizen, has to pay for all of these damn policies that they keep, making and keep enforcing and keep passing. If you live in New York, you're just a regular citizen, you're just trying to work and make your earnings pay, you're paying for all this bullshit. Same thing in Illinois. You're paying for all this bullshit. You're paying for it. At the end of the day, your tax dollars are going towards this. And that's why you always see a steadily increase in all your taxes, because they're trying to find ways to fund more dumb shit. But there's an argument against, mass deportations. No, get rid of these motherfuckers, because again, you're creating more tax burdens for the average citizen, the low and middle class worker. You're creating more tax burdens for them. And you had Nancy Pelosi saying, migrants need to have the American dream. Well, damn, can Americans have the American dream? Can these people that lived here for decade after decade after decade have the American dream? They're not allowed to have that. You just got to keep bleeding them dry, milking them dry. This shit is a shame, bro. This shit is shameful as hell. And that's why I said a lot of you guys that, brag about voting or whatever, you need to be voting in your local politics, your local elections, your state elections, and vote these motherfuckers out of office. Look at how they run y'all cities, bro. Look at the economic status of your people in these cities. Look at your economic status of your people in these states that are deeply blue. Vote blue no matter who. I remember we were in an Uber and a guy listened to the radio and he was like, we need a change. I'm like, what change? Y'all keep voting for the same goddamn party line. What change? And they pass bill after bill and policy after policy. And the only person that it hurts is the regular smuggler person. The low and middle income classes, people that work their ass off. And all they get for a thank you is your ass to kiss. Y'all need to be active in your local elections and vote these motherfuckers out, man. Because a lot of y'all that got sense, y'all vote with y'all feet and y'all run to a red state, man. I said this 1,000 damn times. Y'all run to a red state. You know, Republicans are racist or whatever. I don't know, man. Look, Democrats seem to always have black people on the bottom of the damn totem pole. Magically have them on the bottom of the goddamn totem pole, economically, education-wise, and all facets of life. That was their goal 100 years ago, and it looks like they're maintaining that goal 100 years later. They set out to disenfranchise black people back then, and it looks like they accomplished that feat today. Eugenics and all that was to, disenfranchise black people, destroy black families and everything. And look today, looks like mission was accomplished. And we see the worst of that in these blue fucking cities. And you can't deny it. You can't deny it. Most people in the inner cities vote with their emotions, never an educated decision. That is correct, bro. That is correct. They vote blue no matter who. Well, not these sisters. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Flip Chicago red. Some people are finally seeing it and getting tired of this shit. I put red, so now they want to put the Flip Chicago red. Here it is here.
Y'all don't care about the U.S. Constitution at all. Y'all don't care about it at all. The city of Chicago is the most corrupt city on the planet, and it's run by a Democratic machine. And you guys have been doing this for decades. You guys have been taking our generational wealth. The blacks helping as well.
And the sister is right. The sister's right. If you're just a regular citizen and you working hard as hell, see, not all black people are criminals. I know some of you racist ass Democrats think like that. All black people are criminals. No, that's a small percentage of black Americans that commit violent crimes and get locked up. Most of these people are hard-working, earnest, working families, and they just want to have a regular damn life. And you're just hiking all their damn taxes, making them pay for illegal immigrants, making them pay for the migrant crisis, making them pay for Joe Biden's mistakes and spiking inflation. They're making excuses for it. And they tired of this shit. And they know it's been going on for decades. This just happened in the last 4 years. Yeah. Gotham City, exactly. Gotham City is pretty much based off of Chicago. And you already know that tells a story of a lot of dubious characters, nefarious characters, and Batman has to fight against them, right? Like the Penguin, Scarecrow, Joker. You're going to get the nerd side of me now. You understand? Mr. Freeze. You know what I'm saying? Remember Arnold Schwarzenegger played Mr. Freeze? Chill out. We was kids laughing our ass off at that line. Chill out. Had goddamn Arnold Schwarzenegger playing Mr. Freeze. But yeah, man. That embodied all of the corruption of Chicago. She's right. This didn't just start yesterday. The city been, corrupt. It's been backwards. You need to vote these guys out of office. Why do you keep voting blue no matter who? Let's go back.
Constitution at all. Y'all don't care about it at all. The city of Chicago is the most corrupt city on the planet, and it's run by a Democratic machine. And you guys have been doing this for decades. You guys have been taking our generational wealth. The blacks helping as well. And it's going to stop because Trump is getting in office. And the first thing that's going to happen is the Department of Justice is going to come here. You don't know how to govern. You don't.
So I want every gang member, no matter what you want to vote, fight for, whatever, etc. I want y'all to line them polls up. We flipping red.
I'm telling you, Brandon Johnson, from my heart to yours, Trump 2024. No more blue, no matter who. Donald J. Trump. Trump 2024. He gonna stop the bleeding. He gonna deal with this sanctuary city, and he gonna help us get you out, and he gonna get you anybody out who roll with you, who think they gonna tear up Chicago. Y'all getting out too.
Self-preservation is the first law of nature. You focus on you, but I'm going red on my way to Freedom Land. God have given every black person everything you need. All you have to do is use what God have given you. If you don't use what you got to get what you want, you don't need what you got. Right now, what I have is my vote to go red. To go red.
Thank you very much for your comments.
And some of the puerile behavior, the petulance that exists, look, I get it. That puts on a show for you all, quite frankly. The vast majority of people that I run into all over the city, do you know what never comes up? Man, Mayor Johnson, how about that last city council meeting?
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. He basically trying to dismiss them. And those are people that have been probably Chicagoans for their whole life, and they experienced the Democratic experience, and they don't like the results of it. They don't like the look at the bottom of the screen here. According to the study, black households have a median net wealth of $0 compared to $210,000 for white families. That's in these deep blue cities. These inclusive the party of inclusion. Remember, inclusiveness and joy, according to Sonny Austin. This is what you got following decades after decades, 100 years of Democrat support got you this. $0 fucking dollars, man. A median, the average net worth of a black American in Chicago is $0 goddamn dollars. That's what you get from being a Democrat. So it seems like if you want to suppress black people and oppress black people and repress black people and keep them, basically in chains of, struggling economically, you do it through the Democrat Party. If you want to disenfranchise black people, you do it through the Democrat Party. If you want to keep them in a low status and keep them in poor education, keep them away from upward mobility, you do it through the Democratic policies. So the goal 100 years ago hasn't changed: to disenfranchise black people, destroy them economically and education-wise. The same Dixiecrats of the past, the goals they had, are being achieved with the modern Democrat Party today. Jay Geyer says in Chicago, 35,000 people have been murdered in 50 years by Laura, said to him by Megan. Oh, that's the source right there. 35,000. Then, yeah, you got a murder problem in that city, man. What the hell is going on there? Your police force is weak. Okay. Laura Lightfoot, was the mayor for years, and she couldn't get that under control. You need to increase your police force. You need to address public safety. You got to do all those things instead of wasting money on migrants. How about you address that? You got money for them, but you ain't got money for your citizens. Like, that's why they're crying out right now. And they want to flip Chicago red. That's why they're doing that. Trying to cast it to the side. This is the results of solid blue states, solid blue cities ruling with unfettered power in these states. The black household has a median net wealth of $0. That's a damn shame, man. That's a damn shame. And that's why Dinesh D'Souza said what he said. Pretty much Democrats have black Americans on their plantation today within these urban cities, in these inner cities. There's no difference. Back then, the Southern Dixiecrats would do everything in their power, whether through law or through force, to make sure black people were at the bottom of the totem pole, economically and education-wise. Even told black people that education is for the white man, not black people, right? And a lot of you guys echo the sentiments of these rednecks and try to say, oh, you trying to speak proper, you acting white. That's where that comes from, man. Look at today's modern Democrat Party and look at the status of black Americans under their regime and compare it to how it was back then. It's the same goddamn result. Same result. That's why these sisters was crying out to this asshole on the damn stream. And he's just gonna try to dismiss it. He's gonna try to dismiss it, man. All right, I'm just gonna end it here. The article from David Greenberg from yesteryear. To sum this up, because a lot of you guys, the Republican Party's racist. Why would you vote for them? Well, you vote for the Democrats. They got a long history of racism. They fought for slavery to maintain and keep slavery. That's what Civil War was about. The Civil War was about. That conflict was to maintain and keep the practice of slavery going. Right? Before that, Andrew Jackson with the Indian Removal Act, the Trail of Tears. Right? They fought against every major civil rights law. Right? They fought against all of that. Jim Crow and black codes. Right? They spit on our ancestors. They beat on our ancestors just because they want to eat in the damn restaurant. Right? And want to integrate schools. They did all that. They bucked up and fought against all those things. They did everything in their power to disenfranchise black people. That's the history of the Democratic Party. But even if you go to the DNC, they will say, we've been established since 1848. So they proud of their fucking history. It says here, let me blow this up. The Republican Party and African Americans, The Real History by David Greenberg. At July's Republican convention, Texas governor and presidential candidate George W. Bush won kudos for his gutsy appeal to black voters. Alluding to the proud past, he suggested that his party had embraced African Americans until only recently. His plan to win them back, tried out some speakers of color, bandy about the word inclusion, and presto, the Republicans will gain the party of Lincoln. Bush, alas, misreads history. To make good of his rhetoric, he actually had to abjure his party's 32-year-old Southern strategy of playing upon racial fears to court whites, far from representing a recent aberration, as the Bushes suggest. That strategy marks the culmination of a powerful 125-year trend. Founded in 1854, the Republican Party promoted African-American equality for its first 2 decades. Abraham Lincoln and the radical Republicans in Congress fought to end slavery and to give black men full citizenship. And this part of history is always ignored, and no one wants to bring this out. The Republicans formed to end slavery, stop the spread of slavery, to end slavery, and they did that. They ultimately did that. That they are the ones responsible for that. The other side, the Democrats, are the ones who fought to maintain it and keep it. It says, for that much, Bush and company can claim a worthy lineage. But as early as 1876, not 1960, as the Philadelphia Convention suggested, GOP leaders begin to abandon black Americans. And this is the part of history that people want to throw out there, because it's like, well, they didn't do their due diligence, and they did not. That's where the Republicans fell on their face. They should have nailed it to the Democrats and the Dixiecrats in the 19th century. That's what they should have did. They should have nailed them. They should have got them out of the picture, but they allowed them to come back in. They told them, hey, they had to honor the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment, and these damn bastards in the South pretended to do that, and they did everything in their power, legislative-wise, to not abide by that. That's why you get the 1891 decision, separate but equal, all that bullshit, man. Jim Crow laws, poll taxes, literacy tests at the polls to prevent black people from voting against Democrats. And they even did it with violence. To avoid all of that, all the Republicans had to do is not allow them back into the Union. Not allow them back into the seats of Congress. And again, I will always say this. The greatest sin of the Republicans is allowing these motherfuckers back into the reins of power here in America. That should have never took place. And this is what he's going to discuss. In that year, presidential election, Ohio Republican Rutherford B. Hayes agreed to withdraw federal troops from the South in exchange for Southern Democratic support. Democrats seized power in the South and ushered in legalized segregation. See, that's where this was the beginning of the end right here. Biggest sin of the Republicans. It said when Bush touts his party's history, he does not seem to know that Republican advocacy of black equality was already waning by the early 20th century. Not even on the scourge of lynching did Republicans muster enough enthusiasm to take federal action. Although House Republicans passed an anti-lynching bill in January 1922, their Senate counterparts wouldn't enact it. Heartland Republicans such as William Borah of Idaho allied with Southern Democrats to kill the bill, arguing that it licensed federal interference with states' autonomy. Meanwhile, the Democrats were winning the loyalty of Black Americans they retain today. This is how we get the history that we have today, over 100 years of loyalty to the Democrats, even when they were outright racist. As African Americans fled the South to northern cities, the Democrats' political machines eagerly absorbed the newcomers. Republican machines, by contrast, reacted coolly when Black leaders sought to join their ranks. The Black shift to Democratic Party crystallized under President Franklin Roosevelt. Though FDR won just 23% of the Black vote in 1932, he subsequently expanded that support with his relief policies. The Depression affected Black Americans disproportionately, and programs such as the Civilian Conservation Corps and the Public Works Administration gave them much needed aid. To the extent that Republicans still championed civil rights, it was leaders of their now extinct liberal wing, such as Wendell Willkie and Thomas Dewey, who did so. Anti-government conservatives of Bush stripe, the rank and file of today's GOP, increasingly trumpeted states' rights. By the 1950s, the Republicans' Party of Lincoln moniker was all but meaningless. GOP's leaders, President Dwight Eisenhower, had testified before Congress against integrating the military and belittled the landmark 1954 Supreme Court decision that desegregated schools. Racial liberalism within GOP enjoyed its last hurrah in 1964 Civil Rights Act, but the victory was Pyrrhic. President Lyndon Johnson and Northern Democrats had finally resolved to enact a vigorous civil rights bill, but the legislation almost died because of the Senate filibuster by Southern Democrats. Again, Democrats all these years have been making sure to keep their foot on Black Americans' neck. And the criticism toward Republican parties is rightfully so, because throughout all these years, we wouldn't even be dealing with this if 1876 didn't happen. They should have stamped their ass out. They should have stamped them out. None of this shit should have happened because it became a domino effect. It says, then at the 11th hour, Republican leader Everett Dirksen marshaled his wavering party mates to force a vote assuring the bill's passage. Senator Richard Russell of Georgia growls that Dirksen had killed off a rapidly growing Republican Party in the South, but Russell had it backwards. The foes of 1964 law included such rising GOP stars as Arizona's Senator Barry Goldwater and Texas Senate aspirant and future President George H.W. Bush. Goldwater and Bush foresaw that their future electoral successes rested in Southern and Western conservatives. In his 1964 presidential bid, Goldwater ran Operation Dixie, which courted Southern whites and ceded the Black vote entirely. Goldwater lost badly, but 4 years later, the approach worked. Republican Richard Nixon won the election in 1968 on a Southern strategy that stressed law and order and tapped into white anxieties about Black violence. So Nixon's plan furnished the blueprint for the campaigns of Ronald Reagan and the elder George Bush, both of whom wrote off the Black vote, pursued white voters with coded racial appeals. 1988, Bush tarred Democrat Michael Dukakis, a sophomore crime, famously using ads featuring the menacing Black rapist named Willie Horton. If George W. Bush intends to toss out that tried and true strategy this year, he'll be declaring quite literally that it's no longer his father's Republican Party. That will be a courageous act indeed. So this is someone being very critical of the Republican Party. He got every right to be critical of the Republican Party and pass. They should have stamped these people out. They shouldn't have played games with them at all. It should have been over in 1876, right? However, all of the good that the Republican Party has done for Black Americans should be flushed down a damn toilet, and all of the evil that the Democratic Party has done to Black Americans should not be ignored, because just as it was 100 years ago, it seems like the goal never changed. The goal never changed with these guys. Keep you disenfranchised, keep you on the bottom of the totem pole economically, keep you in the worst parts of the city, destroy all your opportunity. Come on, man. It's the same shit over and over again. And that's why people are returning to the GOP. Took a long time, took 100 years, but we're starting to see a shift to the red side, man. I'm going to give you guys one more article. Go here. No, I know I got it in my handy dandy Facebook, and after that, I'm going to bed, y'all. Told you it wasn't gonna be that long. Let's see. Let me check my handy dandy Facebook. You know what I don't like about Messenger, because I kind of use Messenger to save a lot of the things that oh, here we go. I don't like about Messenger, if somebody gives you 1,000 messages, it kind of bumps all that down. So again, I read you something from 2000 when Bush was trying to get elected. This is from 1999, just to give the people the perspective of what was being said and argued. And nothing really has changed, because the history is still there, and it's available for everyone and anyone who wants to read it, right? All of this information is at your fingertips. So it reads, Blacks gored by a lie, Al Gore Sr., the GOP in the Civil Rights Act of 1964 by R.D. Davis. It is easy to control the minds of a people. All one has to do is change history by lying about the past. This is exactly what has happened with the legacy of the former Democratic U.S. Senator Al Gore Sr. of Tennessee, the father of our current vice president and mythical support of civil rights. In a recent speech to the NAACP, Vice President Gore said his father lost his Senate seat because he supported civil rights legislation. Fellow Black Americans, let me set history straight. Al Gore Sr., together with the rest of the Southern Democrats, voted against the Civil Rights Act of 1964. So when people bring up Lyndon B. Johnson, his party were against the Civil Rights Act. There were more Republicans that voted for the Civil Rights Act of 1964 than against, right? It says congressionally quarterly reported that in the House of Representatives, 61% of Democrats voted for the Civil Rights Act, as opposed to 80% of Republicans. 80% of the Republicans voted for Civil Rights Act, while only 61% of Democrats did. In the Senate, 69% of Democrats, 46 for and 21 against, voted for the act, while 82% of Republicans did, 27 for and 6 against. All Southern Democrats voted against the act. All Southern Democrats were against the Civil Rights Act of 1964. All of them. And a lot of people say, "Oh, the South, Texas and all these places are racist." Yeah. What was the political alignment? Democrats. Texas was a Democrat state. Alabama, Louisiana, all these places was Democratic states. Georgia, Democratic states. In the most racist parts of their history, they all voted Democrat. It says, in his remarks upon signing the Civil Rights Act, President Lyndon Johnson praised Republicans for their overwhelming majority. He did not offer similar praise to his own Democratic Party. Moreover, Senate Minority Leader Everett Dirksen and Illinois Republican collaborated with the White House and the Senate leadership of both parties to draft acceptable compromise amendments to end the Southern Democrats' filibuster of the act. It was Dirksen who often took the Senate floor to declare, this is an idea whose time has come. It will not be denied. Again, these are Republicans arguing against the vitriol and hatred that the Democrats had against Black Americans. How many people learn about this? No, because all you hear about Republicans hate Black people. They hate Black people. All you hear is the negative when it comes to Republicans, and all you hear is the positive when it comes to Democrats. It says Dirksen's greatest triumph earned him the Leadership Conference and Civil Rights Award presented by the then NAACP Chairman Roy Wilkins for his remarkable civil rights leadership. Inform yourself so you can learn for yourself about this important historical event. All official records about the Civil Rights Act can be found in June 1964 issues of Congressional Quarterly. Al Gore Sr. did not stop at simply voting against the Civil Rights Act of 1964. And again, this guy's trying to get elected as president, so he would say anything. Even Biden said, "Oh, what do you say? I walked for civil rights. I marched for civil rights." No, and damn well he did. Just will lie and say anything to get elected. No, and Al Gore did the same thing years ago. Rest in peace to my grandmother, and she was voting for Al Gore. I'm like, look at this. In addition, Congressional Quarterly reported that Gore attempted to send the act to the Senate Judiciary Committee with an amendment to say In defiance of a court desegregation order, federal funds could not be held from any school districts. Gore sought to take the teeth out of the act in the event it passed. Federal funds could not be held from any school districts. And that was in defiance of the desegregation order. Ostensibly, Senator Gore was elated at the idea of young Al Jr. going to school with black children. In reality, however, the future vice president attended an elite private school. In the end, the Gore Amendment was defeated by a vote of 74 to 25. Senator J. William Fulbright of Arkansas, one of the President Bill Clinton's political mentors, was among the 23 Southern Democratic senators and only one Republican voting with Gore for this racist amendment. How many of you guys learned about that? You know, Republican Senator Barry Goldwater of Arizona voted against the Civil Rights Act because he was afraid the nation would be transformed into a police state as a result of some of its provisions. He did not want to throw out the proverbial baby with the bathwater. History, of course, labeled Goldwater as a racist, even though he voted against the Gore Amendment, an amendment devised to continue school segregation. If anyone in the Senate should be tagged as racist, it should be those voting for the Gore Amendment. Why didn't history record Al Gore Sr. and the other Southern Democrats as racist? And that's another thing. You got to pin the racist label on the people that have been historically racist in this country. And that's been the Democrats. At least civil rights activist Andrew Young was forthcoming about this oversight in his book, An Easy Burden. Young wrote, the Southern segregationists were all Democrats. I'm going to read that again. The Southern segregationists were all Democrats. And it was black Republicans who could effectively influence the appointment of federal judges in the South. Young noted that the best civil rights judges were Republicans appointed by President Dwight Eisenhower. Young admitted these judges are among the many unsung heroes of the civil rights movement. Again, one side fighting against the evils of racism, the other side is all for the evils of racism. That's the history here. History tends to unilaterally and falsely depict Republicans as racist when Southern Democrats truly deserve this title. We now have Southern Democrats as both president and vice president. That would never be the case without the power of the lie and the liberal news media to alter people's impressions. Lies can enslave men, but the truth shall set them free. I challenge you, the reader, to take the time to research the facts about our past in publications like Congressional Quarterly and Easy Burden. Once you educate yourself, you can no longer be deceived by the fabulous. No longer will you be gored by a lie. And that's the motherfucking deal, man. So I think it's beautiful that we starting to see Black Americans return to the GOP, return to common sense politics. And don't let them mislabel the Republican Party. These motherfuckers are the fathers and mothers of racism here in this country. They birthed it here, the Democratic Party. They did everything to every minority and impacted every minority negatively, including African Americans in America's past. And they got the nerve to say, we need to get rid of this school because it's named after Robert E. Lee, or destroy these statues because it's named after racist people. Okay, why can't we get rid of the Democrat Party? It literally functioned as a machine of racism for majority of its existence. Majority of its existence. So why are you still proud to call yourself Democrat when that name and that moniker was used to disenfranchise and destroy Black people, figuratively and literally, to hang, kill, mistreat, beat, embarrass, and keep below the feet of white people for majority of its existence? So why not go against that? Why not tear that label down? Since we destroying statues and renaming schools and shit, why are you still proudly holding the banner of the Democrats? Answer me that. And with that, that's the motherfucking deal, man. Fuck the ops. We vote red. I'm out, y'all. Let's go.
Yeah. Hey, it's real Trump supporters out here, you feel me? We ain't robbing nobody on this song, baby. Salute that boy, you know, we coming in, we coming hard, we going tough. Let's go. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. Let's go. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. For real. Black MAGA, 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 Black MAGA. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. Donald Trump, the first black president. Ever seen a black patriot? Yeah, we exist. The Democrats use my color just to stay rich. Indict my president, you might as well indict me too. Call me a Uncle Tom, but really what Obama do? Not a damn thing, Trump was just that Chick-fil-A. Taking flicks with my people, he really showing face. Hey, Joe Biden, yeah, I really wanna taste something. Poor kids is just as talented as white kids in this country. 3.6 million black kids in poverty. But these liberals putting illegal immigrants right in front of me. We should make them vote at the gas pump. We got fake news mad cause us niggas out here voting Trump. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. Let's go. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. For real. Black MAGA, 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 Black MAGA. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. Donald Trump, the first black president. I know your mama can't barely buy the groceries. They pushing genders on our kids, not rosaries. You get a Glock in these streets before you learn to read. You get some sauce, some white, some weed before a damn degree. Next thing you know, you going fed, getting a GED. I swear we fed the whole hood with them PPPs. Rappers pushing P, but I'm pushing knowledge. They hooked on EBT, but I was hooked on phonics. They wouldn't be so terrified of Donald Trump if Biden actually received 81 million votes. You know that boy capping, all aboard the Trump train. November 5th, every nigga in America vote for Trump. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. Let's go. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. For real. Black MAGA, 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 Black MAGA. Donald Trump, yeah, that's my president. Donald Trump, the first black president.